Hello, church family. As you may know, we've spent some of the last weeks speaking about mental health, hearing from Adam, Megan, Rachel, Adrian, Anne Marie, and I found it really helpful having a bunch of different, honest perspectives on realities, challenges, help, and hope in the middle of different expressions of mental health issues. And I want to thank all the people who've been so honest there. And those videos are still available on the YouTube channel, so you can go and take a look at them. And would encourage you, please go and watch them because it's tremendously helpful. And not just if you're going through things yourself, but how we as a church can support one another better. I think it will really help us tremendously. So do go and watch those. And just thinking, what can we draw out of some of these videos, and a few of the things that come up over and over again were firstly to speak up, not to suffer alone, not to suffer in silence, but to speak to someone about what's going on inside. Speak to your running partners, speak to friends inside and outside of the church. I know that Meg said that one of her most important support groups was simply friends at school, but speak to someone. And if you don't know anyone in the church family but would appreciate some help, some prayer, then you can always get in touch through the email address care@wearekingsgate.org. That's below the video. Speak to your doctors. We don't want to ignore any kind of help that we're provided with, and mental health can come from lots of different sources. It can be physical, can be mental, can be spiritual. There's different things that can be going on, but we don't want to ignore the help that we've got on offer. And so we want to pray and we want to speak to doctors. And just because you're a Christian doesn't mean that you need to be sort of meek and unassuming all the time, in that you don't be fobbed off with don't worry about it, or it's probably just a phase or something. If you think you need help, then pester your doctor until you get some. Whether you do genuinely need some medication, or whether you need to be referred to someone else, don't be put off too easily because you feel like you don't want to cause a fuss. Do make sure you get the help that you need. Don't be ashamed as well, because you're not alone. I know a couple of the people in the videos spoke about feeling shame at times because of what's going on inside, and yet you're not alone. And that came through really clearly from lots of the interviews, that to be united as a church family, to be one body, to be one family, we are going to have to open up our inner worlds to one another. And for all of us, that will mean exposing some vulnerable parts of our inner lives, and not just the polished bits, but the things that we might rather hide. And in the area of mental health, for some that's going to be painful, making yourself vulnerable. For others, that means maybe getting past shock and surprise, and just seeing how we can care for one another, how we can be available to one another, to pray for, to offer support, friendship, kindness. And do go on praying. Go on praying. Again, something key in so many of these testimonies is the power of prayer. Please don't underestimate what God can do. Trust Jesus. He is the one who is the ultimate help for all of us. He's the one who can deal gently with those who are hurting. So in Isaiah 42, we read about this servant Jesus who can take lives that are broken, and kind of like a candle that's kind of smouldering, almost going out. He doesn't snuff it out, but he deals gently. He knows how to take care of us. But at the same time, he's also the one that can bring glory out of weakness. So you read some of the things that the Apostle Paul writes, and in 2 Corinthians, near the start of that letter to the church, he speaks about severe trouble. He says in chapter 1, verse 8, "We don't want you to be uninformed about the troubles we experienced in the province of Asia. We were under great pressure, far beyond our ability to endure, so that we despaired of life itself. Indeed, we felt we've received the sentence of death." Deep, deep depths of despair. And yet this same man, later on in that letter, in a further passage, is able to say, where he's been praying about something that's been plaguing him, and he receives this answer back from God: "My grace is sufficient for you, For my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, Paul goes on, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. That's why, for Christ's sake, I delight in weaknesses, in insults, hardships, difficulties, for when I am weak, then I am strong. And the reason for that is because it's the weak who know that they need the help of one another. It's the weak who know that they need the help of someone stronger, and for us there is no one stronger than Jesus. It's the weak that know they need to lean not just some of their weight, but all of their weight on him, because he's the only one that can take it. He's the only one that can provide. He's the only one that can lift them up in the middle of that. And it's the weak who know they need the help of one another too. Love and support of friends and family in and outside of the church. And whether God heals you of your mental health issues in this life before we go to be with him, or Jesus comes back, whether he heals you now, or whether as you go on enduring with the grace that he gives, he'll be glorified through your life, so that others will look on and say, God is surely here, because they could not be going through this. You could not be going through this without something more than what we've seen going on. His power is made perfect in our weakness, and he is glorified through us in our weakness when we're willing to take our weaknesses and lift them to him and say, I can't do it. Lord, I need you. I need the people you've put around me. I need your strength and your help. Friends, we don't all have the same weaknesses, and you might rather have mine than your own, or vice versa, but we are all weak. He is always strong, and it's in him that we find our strength and our hope. As I leave you for the week, Rachel Bayliss had written a prayer which I've put below, and you may want to pray that through yourself, just in the middle of whatever struggles you might be going through, whatever mental health issues you might have. You might want to pray that through, and just through those words, allow God to come in and lift your weaknesses to him, and ask for his help in the middle. Ask for reassurance that he understands you, that he's walked in our shoes, that he understands our pain, he can sympathize with us, he can also help us immeasurably. So, dear friends, I hope this week has been helpful. Thank you again to everyone who's put together videos for it. God bless you, and I hope to see you soon.